Thank you so much for talking to me today. I'm going to start with my first question, which is, can you tell us about the new double bill Heroes?
Yes, the new double bill is made up of two brilliant pieces, one by Sophie Laplane called If at First, and the second one is The Waiting Game by Mthuthuzeli November.
Nice. And what would you like audiences to take away from watching both If at First and The Waiting Game?
I think what audiences will take away is a real celebration of the human spirit. So I think both ballets in very different ways examine how we go through hardships in our life, whether they are from external places or sometimes our own thoughts that get in our own way. And I think what audiences will come away with at the end is a real feeling of positivity and hope that humans are going to be okay.
That's really nice. I like that. What does a typical rehearsal day at Ballet Black Studios look like?
Typical day at Ballet Black for the dancers is a 90-minute class in the morning, and then they get a small break, and then we rehearse for a few hours, have lunch, and then we continue rehearsing. Sometimes rehearsals are the creation of a ballet, so we're making the work with the choreographer, and once the work is done, the rehearsals move more into what we call cleaning. So we go through the ballet, we pull it apart, we make sure that every lift and every step works, that all the props and the costumes work, and then we get to the run through stage, which is where we like to run the ballet start to finish with no breaks to make sure that the dancer's stamina is working and that all the elements involved in the production run smoothly.
So it's a full-on day for sure.
It can be. When we get closer to a show, we try to make the days a bit lighter so that the dancers aren't too fatigued by the time we come to performance. But in the run up to something like the Barbican, we have to do quite a lot of rehearsal.
It must be hectic but exciting.
Yeah.
Can you give us a glimpse into your creative process? How do you select repertoire and collaborate with choreographers to bring new work to life?
I think it's different with each choreographer. So somebody like Mthuthuzeli November, who is a dancer in the company, he knows everybody really well. And so he's always got ideas of things that he could be doing for Ballet Black in his mind. Someone like Sophie, she made a ballet for us in 2019. So she already knew the company, but it was a very short piece that she came and made. So she came in and did a week of workshopping because a lot of the dancers were new since 2019. So it was a good chance for her to get to know everyone again and see what their strengths were, and also for her to play around with some ideas. So that's how we work with choreographers. I think the way I select choreographers is if there's already an existing ballet that I want to restage. So in this instance, I knew that we were going to restage The Waiting Game, which is a ballet that we made in 2020, but it didn't get much of an outing on tour because of the pandemic. So I already knew what the style and the theme was of that piece. So when I went to Sophie, I was able to tell her about what that ballet would look like so that she wouldn't make anything that would resemble it. So that's what I would normally do, is look at what's already on the bill and make sure that the other choreographer coming in knows, so that we wouldn't have two ballets about the same thing. And what's very odd is that every time, even though I give the choreographers as much information about the other ballet as possible, there are always some similarities. So even though the two ballets are really, really different, they are both about that human spirit and the human resilience in very different ways. So I don't know if it's the dancers because they're the same in each piece, but there's something that always happens here at Ballet Black, happens with every choreographer that we have. There's always some kind of similarity in the pieces, which actually works out to be a good thing because the evening feels more cohesive that way.
It's really interesting, actually. I mean, of course, I've seen both of them, and you're so right. There's something so similar about them, so different but so similar.
Yeah.
And now that you're saying that, in every double bill, they are so similar. Very interesting.
Yeah, but not in a way where you feel like you're seeing the same themes repeated again and again. I think that's the great thing about having such different choreographers come in and work with the dancers. They are able to find, unique differences in their approach and in what they bring out of the dancers. So it means that you're probably going to prefer one ballet to another, but you will enjoy both, but you'll have a clear favorite, and it's different for everyone.
I mean, I agree. I mean, this is the only kind of show where I can say, yeah, there's one I love more, but it changes every time. It just depends on your mood and how you're feeling on each day.
Yeah, and because it's live, sometimes the dancers bring something different to a piece, than the day before, and so it's always a really good surprise. Hopefully it's a good surprise.
I'm sure it will be. Can you share some of the challenges and successes you've experienced as an artistic director in the creative industry?
Well, I think I'm not that young anymore, but definitely being a female director is sometimes a challenge. I still encounter quite a lot of sexism. So if we go on tour, I will often have staff at a venue talking over my head because they don't know that I'm the director. They assume I'm not for some reason. So that's a personal challenge for me. I have to take a deep breath and try and be calm about every time we get to a new theatre. There's always, for everyone in the arts, there's always a challenge to make sure you've got enough money to do everything you want to do properly. And that is something that we continue to work on every day at Ballet Black. Somebody here is either writing a funding application or researching one, or speaking to somebody about how we might raise money. So that's a constant ongoing challenge. And I think, unlike most ballet companies, if we post a really great picture, in addition to some really nice comments on social media, we often have to look out for, negative comments that are made about us because we're Ballet Black.
Which is the saddest thing, is those trolls.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell some people are genuinely curious, like, what is this? Why do we need it? And some people are obviously bots, so not really real. And every now and then there is something unpleasant that you need to deal with. So every morning I check our social media just to make sure that there's nothing like that. And I try to make sure it's all taken down before the general public or people from our own company or school have to see it.
Yeah. That's very nice that you do that, actually. What motivates and inspires you?
I think what motivates me is quite often the kids in our school. So sometimes they will not stop talking in their ballet class, and it's very frustrating. So I feel like a lot of the time I'm shouting at them, even though they think it's very funny when I do that. But when you see them come to a show or see a rehearsal or meet one of the dancers, they are so excited and so inspired by it. It's a really good reminder of why Ballet Black exists, so that the young generation coming up have somebody that looks like them working at a top elite professional level. And even small things like them being able to buy brown shoes or tights from us in a way that's really straightforward and hasn't involved a load of battles for them. I mean, we've had to battle to get the shoes and tights, but for them it's just something that's really normal. So that is a really good motivation when it comes to keeping going. And I think what inspires me is also to see that, firsthand, to see that up close, but also to sit in the theatre and it to be full, and not just full, but full of people that I don't know. So when I started the company, the shows were full of my friends and family and my parents, my brother, like everyone that was related to me or a friend of mine. So sort of they had to be there. And now I look around and I don't really know anyone at the show, and I think, wow, who are all these strangers who have chosen to come and see Ballet Black? And that's quite something, especially when you get to a really big theatre like Barbican or Hackney Empire or Festival Theatre in Edinburgh. They're such big spaces, and I really want to go around and ask everyone, why are you here? Do you know me? And I think it's because Ballet Black has grown into something way beyond what I could ever have imagined it would be when I started it 22 years ago. So it's kind of weird, but it's very inspiring to see it. And every now and then I do ask someone that's sitting near me, why are you here? And they think I'm very odd, but I do like to ask people. And the reasons are always very different, but mostly it's because they've heard that it's really good. And that's very exciting for me to know that.
It's really nice. I really like that, Cassa. I also I agree with you about the brown shoes being so accessible. I can just only say for everybody that I know, when they've got kids, they've for such a long time have said they've struggled with just letting their kids find something. And then when they do hear about Ballet Black and their kids have joined, they're just like, it's made a massive difference to the kids' life. As you get older, you become a bit more conscious of who you are and what you really look like. Whereas when you're small, all you want is to it's that pink ballerina that we always see, but even a mouse is in pink. So you kind of think, well, everyone should
Angelina Ballerina.
Yeah, that's it, What role do you believe ballet plays in addressing social and cultural issues, and how does Ballet Black contribute to this?
Well, ballet is art, and I think art reflects the time that we live in, whatever kind of art you're engaged in. And I think Ballet Black has quite an important part to play because of the makeup of our company. we are the only ballet company at the moment in the UK that can tell stories from a Black perspective or about a member of a Black person in history. So we've done a ballet about Nina Simone, we've done a ballet about the South African mining crisis, and although other companies could tell those stories, it doesn't feel like it would be done in a very authentic way. So I think what Ballet Black is able to do at this time in the ballet culture in the UK is to tell stories that other companies aren't able to, and also to tell stories that our audience really want to hear. So while there is, of course, a place for those beloved big productions like Swan Lake and Sleeping Beauty and Giselle, there is also a lot of room for more modern stories and stories that speak to maybe a slightly different audience who come to see Ballet Black.
Really, I agree. I mean, me personally, as an audience member, I would much rather see something that speaks to me, it tells a Black story than Swan Lake. I've never seen Swan Lake either.
Well, you should see it, but it will be very different to a Ballet Black production, but definitely worth seeing. But, what tends to happen in the ballet world is we keep looking at the same stories all the time and remaking them, or a new take on it, or something new, and that's fine. But I think for Ballet Black as a company, I think we're quite curious about other stories and other themes and issues, and so that's from the people in the office to the choreographers and the dancers who would be involved in making the piece. So I think in a way, to keep the work interesting for everyone that works here, if we were doing Swan Lake for 52 shows, I think everybody would go a bit insane here. So it's also a really good way to keep everybody in the company really engaged in the work that we're creating.
I agree, totally agree with that. Ballet Black is known for its commitment to diversity and representation in ballet. How do you navigate challenges around diversity in ballet?
Well, we've kind of created our own universe here at Ballet Black. So I would like to think that we have removed those barriers for ourselves within Ballet Black. So if a dancer wants to wear braids or have their hair in locks or wear skin color shoes, that is all the standard here. It's all normal behavior. And nobody will ever be asked to paint their skin lighter to blend in with anyone. Nobody will be asked to do any repertoire that maybe doesn't feel culturally sensitive. And you can really, because we've removed those barriers as an artist, you can really just focus on being the best artist you can be, and you're not having to deal with other outside issues. So I think that's where our strength lies.
It's almost like you can be completely free. You can just be yourself.
Yeah, I think so. And I think if you look at those dancers that have been here and had a long trajectory here in their career, so someone like Isabella Corrisi, who just won an Olivier Award for Outstanding Achievement in Dance, she's really been able to develop as an artist here. And I'm sure she would have done that in another company. But because it's also smaller here, there are many more opportunities for each of our dancers. So whether they are a senior artist at the top of the company or a new apprentice, there's a lot of opportunity to hone your craft here in a way that is slightly different for a dancer going into a company with 50, 60 dancers, where they might start in the quarter ballet, which is a big group of people that have to move as one, so that what they're not looking for there so much as individuality. But at Ballet Black, we really want to see the individual human as well as the ballet dancer.
So that's really important. In October, Ballet Black turns 23. What are your hopes for the future of Ballet Black, and how will you celebrate this amazing age, other than a huge party?
Well, how we celebrate, I think it will depend on where we are. If we're on tour, it might be a nice drink at the Premier Inn bar. And if we are in London, then hopefully we'll have a party of some kind. But I think the hope for the future is to be here for another 23 years, still producing great work and great dancers and a great place for our students to study, and also hopefully go on to become future ballet dancers of any ballet company they might like to go into. But I think it would be quite amazing if one of them actually joined Ballet Black. So going from a little 3-year-old all the way up to the top of the company would be quite something.
That'd be lovely. That'd be so nice.
I know.
Talking about your young kids, not many people may know that you do have a junior school and also a ballet school, an adult ballet school that has over 27 classes and in 3 locations. Can you tell us more about the schools?
Well, we have about 230 students, I think, the last time I looked at our register, and we take students from the age of 3, and we've recently added some adult beginner ballet classes. So our students go from the age of 3 all the way up to an unknown age, because I don't like to ask the adult ballet students how old they are. They're grown-ups. And the school started about a year after the company. So in 2002, started the school, and it started very small in Shepherd's Bush. And I had used to teach at a nursery to earn money to fund the early days of Ballet Black. And the nursery gave me permission to ask the families if they wanted to attend another ballet class on a Saturday. So I think 4 or 5 kids from that nursery joined my school when I started. So I actually started with one class, and word spread, and those kids got a little bit older, so they moved up to the next class, and their siblings took over the little baby class that I started, and the school just grew and grew from there. And pretty much when we got to the pandemic, the waiting list for our school was so massive, we opened another location at our Marylebone studio, which is where the ballet company rehearsed during the week. And then we got a lot of demand over the years from East London. So we were able to, with the help of a grant from Nike, we were able to open another branch in East London in September. And so now we have 3 locations across London, loads and loads of students, and they are all extremely excited to be in the Ballet Black Junior School.
I can imagine, that in itself is such a huge thing, because whether it's ballet, it could be anything. The fact that you've created something from scratch, and now there's like over 200 kids is amazing. And also it'll be 200 kids that will still included, which is very special. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Thank you.
I have one last question for you.
Okay.
In 3 words, can you describe Heroes?
Moving, exciting, and I think inspiring.
Nice. I totally agree with you on all 3.
Good.
I totally agree. Thank you
I
so
hope
much.
the audience agree.
I think they will. I think there'll be a few tears. We'll hear sniffles.
Good. The good kind.
Yes, not cold sniffles, but
not cold sniffles.
Clear sniffles. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christina.